Morning, YouTube. I know, I've been naughty, folks. The old soldier hasn't been putting any videos out a week or so. Let's say. Got more on my plate than I can shake stick at right now on some things, and some things not. But anyway, apologize for the break. But part of it was really didn't have anything to talk about that was worth talking about. But if you live here in North Carolina, tomorrow, again, it's the old soldier coming from me from Robeson County, North Carolina. If you live in North Carolina, tomorrow early voting starts. Go vote in person. I say again, go vote in person. I don't believe the mail-in system is going to be accurate. I don't believe that it will be fair. I believe it is a ploy by the Democratic Party of the United States to delay, if not usurp, the will of the people. So go vote in person. Like I said, that's coming up. Funny thing, I saw a clip this morning on Instagram or Facebook, I don't know which one, of Joe Biden going to a rally. There's all about 7 people in the audience with 1 clapping. So take that for what you will, folks, but he shows up for a rally and only 7 or 8 people there and only 1's clapping. Then again, that could be propaganda from the Republicans too, but looked pretty real to me. Nancy Pelosi and all her ilk. And Wolf Blitzer, of all people, I'm going to give a compliment to. I don't like Wolf. He works for Communist News Network. But was pretty much sticking it to Nancy Pelosi about working with the other side of the House in order to pass this second round of stimulus aid for the pandemic. Without so much as saying to her, he kind of put it this is how I would say he put it to her, was that grow up, be an adult, work with the other side to help the people, and put your petty differences beside you. I mean, he didn't say it that bluntly or directly, but it's pretty much the intent of his statements in that interview with Nancy Pelosi. And all she could say was, we know these people. We're trying to help these people. And Wolf's like, I know them too. I see them on the street every day begging for food and money. And so the question is CNN waking up? I doubt it, but I think that they too are getting sick and tired of the childish games of the Democratic Party because they just don't like Donald Trump. And then you've got the hearings for Amy, I can't pronounce it right now, but Amy Barrett for Supreme Court Justice. Started attacking her about her two adopted Haitian children. Her and her husband have 7 children. They've adopted 2 from Haiti. People want to make that a racial thing. Yet they don't call Madonna and Charlize Theron out on all the kids that they've adopted from other countries of other races. Oh no. Charlize Theron swears up and down that the boy she adopted is a girl. Tell me how sick that is. Making this little boy dress like a girl. That's even worse. I think what Madonna adopted a child from Malawi, I think it was. And those two aren't the only ones who've done it. Media didn't seem to care then. So why should they care now that a Supreme Court Justice nominee has two adopted children of color from the country of Haiti? That's the other thing that sickens me about politics. When they start dragging children into it. Minor children. Now, children get to be adults and start doing things. Still don't agree with it, but there's not much you can do about that point in time. I think there ought to be a law passed. If you're in politics, you can't go after the minor children of your opponent. And that goes both sides. It's one thing that's always kind of irritated me. Go after your opponent, leave their families out of it. Kind of like church. And I've seen this happen. People, congregations, sometimes they get tired of the pastor. Even though the pastor hasn't done anything wrong, the pastor doing everything within the purview of what God has told them to do and preach. But yet, you get a group of people who want to get rid of the pastor, so what they do, they start talking about his family. His children, his wife, and either the pastor slips up, loses his temper, and goes after him. Oh, you're fired. You keep talking to us that way. Or he just says, you know what? Enough's enough. Here's my resignation. God bless. Take care. See you later. I've seen that happen. No places where it's still going on. Politics, same way. Leave the kids out of it. It's like when Trump ran for his first term and they went after his son, his youngest son. All the, who was it? There was one celebrity that threatened his child, yet mainstream media didn't bust him out on it. Law enforcement didn't do anything about it per se. So yeah, I take issue with that. So, like I said, here in North Carolina, early voting starts tomorrow. Get out, go vote, make your voice heard, folks. Make your voice heard. Like I said, after this election, I'm a firm believer that all you know what's going to break loose, regardless of who the winner of the election is. And it's, already been forecasted that if Donald Trump wins, that the Democrats are still going to do everything in their power to usurp the election, usurp power. But I'm starting to see some things on other media sources that leads me to believe wholeheartedly that the president will be reelected, and that there's large portions of the population that the mainstream media does not want you to hear about that are supporting President Trump. People of color, people of Hispanic and Latino descent. There's even a group known as Democrats for Trump. Yep, you heard me. Democrats for Trump. And I think part of it's got to do with the fact that the party leadership has gone so far left that many mainstream Democrats don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. But sadly, you still got those that are literally blinded by the party. That the party said the sky was purple, they would believe it and tell you today that you keep calling the sky blue, you're a liar, you're a hypocrite, you're a racist, you're a misogynist, you're a sexist. All those things you'd be called just because you disagree with the Democrat Communist Party. Yep. See that, folks? That's how communism works. Lies, deceit, to the point that you, the common person, start to believe the lies and deceit, or you get so scared of what they might do that you just go along to get along. And that's what Nancy Pelosi and Chucky Schumer and all them turds in Congress on the Democratic side, and even some on the Republican side, want you to do. They want your blind obedience to anything that they say or do. They want your blind obedience to anything that they pass and that they call legislation. And they want you to swallow it with a smile on your face. Don't be fooled. Same thing with these libtarded professors in our universities and colleges, all the way down into our public primary school systems. You know, wanting to change history, wanting certain things removed out of school libraries, wanting certain subjects altered to fit a particular viewpoint that's not exactly truthful. That's what's going on, folks. That's what's going on. And these liberal groups want to be catered to by everybody else. And if they're not, they throw a hissy fit like a spoiled child until they get their way. Some places people have stood up and said, nope. Other places, he said, you know what? Lawsuits are not worth it. And they've just given in. Like these colleges creating classes so athletes can pass. Now, some might say, oh, so that's a racist statement. How so? Well, you know who you're talking about. UNC, Chapel, a few years back, an African American study program in order to help students of color pass so they can still play football and other sports. Not racist, it's just a statement of what it was created to do. And the professor got called out, got caught. But it's not the first time at a university that things were made easier for athletes. It's been going on for years. That one just had an extra dynamic because it included a racial element. And how does that tie in? Well, it ties in this way: that if a university allows that to happen, they'll allow a professor, an instructor, a teacher with communist sympathies to get in and teach how they see things relevant, which could be a bold-faced lie to the truth of history, but be allowed to teach it anyway and call it the truth. And they label it as an alternate viewpoint. The United States and its allies won World War II. The United States and its allies supported Russia in World War II. What's that got to do with anything? Because all the aid that Russia was supposed to get in World War II was supposed to be on Lend-Lease, and it was supposed to be for military operations only. Because they acted like bratty little children at the negotiating table, it compelled certain generals to give in and sign off on certain authorizations that they knew the material was going to be hoarded and held to help rebuild Russia's infrastructure at the end of the war. Copper wire being one of them. Folks, that's the mindset of what we're dealing with in Washington, D.C. right now. So get out, vote in person, make your voice heard, make your voice known. more, my friends. God bless. Take care. And we will talk to you tomorrow.